I guess I should call this video series Guy on the Couch. But this one's going to be a real long one. Hopefully the battery in my phone's going to last long enough to do it. I'm going to watch Bernard Hopkins versus Felix Trinidad. It's one of my favorite fights of all time. Bernard Hopkins technically is my favorite fighter of all time. At least striker. So I'm gonna watch this, see what the executioner has in hand for old Felix. So starting it now. I'll skip the so I'm gonna skip the intro, even though they got that dope walkout and everything. He's got the leather mask on for this one. I think this is like right after 9/11 or something. That's crazy.
Here we go with the bout you've all been waiting for. Welcome.
Yeah, so skipping through all that stuff. All right, here we go. Sorry.
Hopkins out in the first round. Sometimes all that is just talk. Sometimes it means real fireworks from the opening bout.
Okay.
Knocked Jockey down in the first. He knocked Vargas down twice in the first.
Those both circling to the left.
Can't be waiting with this boxer. He's got to get up.
Generally, that should be pretty good on Trinidad because he likes to run that nice straight right. But it's a very slow circle, so it's not giving him really that much of an advantage. Yeah, Hopkins has the overhand right that's like, it's like a chopping overhand right, but thrown at distance. So he just covers the distance and then throws the chopping overhand right at the same time, basically. Which is a kind of cool tactic. Because it takes away all the distance to counter. And yet still gets over the glove. He throws that skip hook to duck. It's a counter if the other guy throws a left hook too. Both constantly moving. Little in and out. Just trying to find range, but also to keep Trinidad from getting range. So as soon as he realizes he stood still for a second, he starts. Hopkins starts moving. I'm gonna do this more from the side of Bernard because I've watched him like focus on him more. Yeah. George Foreman does a great job commentating this, at least in the beginning. He's a little too Trinidad heavy, to be honest, but yeah, he on the mark. That's true. You know, if you're throwing a straight right hand, which is Felix's big punch, you really need to push off the back foot, and you can tell, like if you look at the upper body of Felix Trinidad, you can tell that he gets his power not from his arms or his shoulders or even his back, but definitely from his lower body and how he jumps into his punches. It really pushes off the ground. Man, Bernard's just Bernard Hopkins basically just it's about the end of the first round. He's just mugging him in there. DC would love that collar tie. Yeah, I think if Bernard Hopkins learned wrestling, like he could have done really good in the beginning, early UFC. You know, basic jiu-jitsu defense and then some wrestling. I mean, he wrestles. I mean, he does all the upper body clinching and everything. Learned some foot sweeps and how to transition. He could rough someone up against the cage for sure. For sure. Everyone calm, be tranquil. Hey, he can't beat me. I there wasn't really anything that happened in that first round except for the bullying in a sense of Bernard. But that's the thing is like if you let him get in on the inside and then let him get to work, you know, he's controlling the fight. It's like a grappler versus a striker. If grappler gets him on the ground, he's still controlling what's going on.
It was a missed punch fest. Trinidad was 4 out of 27. Hopkins was 6 out of 43, according to CompuBox. Harold Letterman scored the round for Tito Trinidad.
So again, something to really take from these guys is the little tiny adjustments they make constantly, just to make sure that they're out of range when they don't want to throw and in range when they do want to throw. And you see when Hopkins goes to circle, he always makes the circle bigger when he's being defensive. Like anytime he's doing full-on lateral motion, he always makes the circle bigger. It's very important. Classic overhand to left hook, trying to cut his distance. Yeah, Trinidad is already annoyed. You can tell with how Hopkins keeps moving.
So again, they trade from long range in round 2. Neither fighter really into an offensive rhythm yet. Trinidad threw a limited number of punches for him in round 1.
I mean, you can tell Bernard's not like running, but he's definitely always disengaging over and over and over again. Just disengaging. Yeah, man. Foreman had some great commentary. Get right on the mark. We wanted to have him right in that exact punching range. That's hard to do against someone like Bernard Hopkins, who knows how to both enter and exit and dance. That's everything you need in striking. Being able to enter at the right time and enter well, exit quickly, and dance. And then his clinch work on the inside is, it's very few people that can deal with him, so it's one of the things I really liked about him. The rough stuff. See, Bernard got hit with 2 jabs because he kept moving at the same speed. So he was like the neutral speed where he was bouncing around the ring. He kept that same speed while Trinidad was firing. That's why he got tagged twice. See, he's doing it again and he got hit with the right hand. So that's a problem. You have to your neutral, whatever your speed is when you're circling, that speed has to be definitely a lot slower than when you're actually trying to avoid shots. I think the master of that is Floyd Mayweather. Certain speed when you're neutral game, and then the speed in the defense and in the offense, it goes through the roof. You don't need to be fast all the time. Yeah, I didn't see the very end of that round. I was focused on what I was talking about, but asked him if he hurt him. I don't remember. Big shot on the second round, but maybe they'll show it again. Oh yeah, the overhand. Double jab overhand. Nice. The one thing that if Trinidad was watching his tapes, like I've studied Bernard a lot, is that almost always when he's going to throw his right hand after a jab or double jab, he always dips to the right before he throws it. But just to get the head offline and come back and kind of hide his hand by having his body over his hand, but it's something he always does, so that's something you have to look out for. You have to look out for patterns. Anybody you're going to be fighting or... Yeah, I definitely think I'm going to have to break this video up because I think the phone's going to die. Yeah, Bernard standing in front of him this time. But Felix didn't pull the trigger. He's trying to play with him too much. Which is what you don't want to do with Bernard Hopkins. Knows what to do. Every situation. Oh, and his jab. He's winning this jab war. Seriously.
Hopkins says he'll be watching his feet as much as his hands, just for that reason.
Hopkins varying the pace just a little, leading with the left hook there instead of the jab. Now Trinidad fires his little right.
So he gets hit, immediately breaks the distance, comes in because he knows he's too far away, or too close to run away. So he just comes in. It's very important to know whether or not you should come in and clinch or just break the distance, or if you should run away. Very, very, very important. Problem is when people only think they have one option, and usually that's running away. So Trinidad's definitely in charge right now. He's slipping and jabbing and winning that war right now. But again, Bernard's so good at that. Just running in, throws a punch, clinches. Break distance, throw a punch, clinch. So useful. And he gets to throw like really big power punches that normally he'd be off balance. But he uses Trinidad as basically his wall or post to like grab onto and keep himself from falling or losing his balance. So if you're going to lunge, make sure that you're going to break the distance so you can actually clinch on to your opponent to use them to rebalance yourself. Round 3 over. Definitely Hopkins is in the lead for sure. I think it's like a 2-1 or 3-0. Yeah, because the big shot in round 2 also Bernard Hopkins. So yeah, I don't know. And you also, when you win the last part of the round, it's very important to the judges. Tito did a lot of good work in the middle rounds. In the middle of the round.
Bernard Hopkins showing that a Philadelphia fighter can box as well as brawl, whatever his reputation.
Merchant.
Round 4 begins. Harold Foreman out before the first 3. Championship tied at 2-1, 29-28. Bernard Hopkins.
They both have nice high guards. That's something to learn from boxers of this era. They have they're really good at keeping their hands up. Now they're doing a bit bigger lunges in and out. So not the like little nervous steps that they were doing in the beginning. Now they're doing full steps, full pivots, getting into actual exchanges. Hopkins knows he's really good on the inside, so he just keeps smothering him. Keeps smothering Tito after these exchanges.
Perhaps he's realized so far that he can deal with Trinidad's punch. Oh, that punch can't be dealt with, man. You gotta stay smart.
See, from a guy that like George Foreman, who obviously like thought that his punch couldn't be dealt with, and then fought a Muhammad Ali who dealt with his punch. It's kind of come on, bro. You should know better. some people got some chins on them, and know how to deflect the punch and the power. That's a big part of Bernard Hopkins' game. Knowing how to keep that chin down. He keeps his chin down, just probably better than anyone. I think he's probably got the best forehead forward. Like he just maintains it. It's like him and Dan Henderson. Dan Henderson in box. It's really hard to knock out someone who's able to do that. Unless you kick him in the head or knee him in the head. And again, when he comes in, he never gives people time to uppercut him because he flies in and there's no time to have a counter uppercut. Really hard to time because he moves so quick in. And he's throwing a big punch too at the same time, so you don't want to try to counter while you're going to eat a big punch. So it's a good tactic. He's so good at throwing, and if he's not just completely taking out all of the space, immediately doing some kind of defensive motion and varying up his defensive motions. If you throw a right hand and always roll after the right hand, you're going to get caught. If you always throw a right hand and then slip after the right hand, you're going to get caught. If you throw a right hand and then duck every time after throwing a right hand, you're going to get caught. But he mixes it up completely. He's always one defensive option after his attack. Same attack, different defensive option. Very important. Alright, so this is going to be part 1. I have to use the restroom. So be back.